I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to try and thin out this Moritaka. And you probably shouldn't do what you're about to see. And it might take a couple videos. I don't know. I'm doing this all by hand, by eye. And we'll see what happens. Okay, so what do we got? This is the Moritaka Aogami Super 210mm Gyuto. And I just did a prep sesh video with it yesterday. It's a high performing knife for certain things. However, in my experience, it does wedge a bit. Why? Well, you can take a look at the geometry. It's rather abrupt, but it's super thin. And then the rest of the blade itself is thin as well. But this wedged on an apple. Now, in the prep sesh video, when I set it down like that to show you the choil shot, it was super wonky. I mean, the thing was pointing at what, 1 o'clock? So I took off the handle. All I did was soak this in boiling water. After about a minute of boiling, I tried pulling it off, didn't come off. I think I did it 2 more times and finally just slid right off, so it's likely hot glue. And I think the issue is with the handle itself. Something about it going in, it got crooked, because when you look at this, there's a little bit of a belly to the tang that sticks out. And I guess you could say it's not 100% straight, but I don't think they're all going to be 100% straight. If anything, I would say that it is maybe shooting off. It's hard to really get it. I mean, that's pretty darn straight. So I'm going to thin this out. I'm going to thin out the tang, and I'm going to thin out the entire blade. Likely going to end up with no karochi, or maybe just a little bit. And you probably shouldn't do what I'm about to do, but I'm doing it. So let's get into it. I have an Atoma 140. I am going to be wetting this because of friction, and that makes sense. I'm going to put a rubber glove on this hand just so I don't get steel all over me. And yeah, I'm just going to put my head down and see what happens here. I'm going to have to pop this up a little, pull this back over the wood a little bit. Just to give you an idea how quickly things change on a 140 grit. You know what I'm going to do, just so my focus area, because I know from this black tape right here, that's my focus range. So I'll just keep this up further. I'm putting pressure in essentially the middle of the blade. Because I'm trying to thin out middle to the edge more so than to the spine. And I can already feel bye-bye karochi. It's that fast to get rid of it. I'll be honest with you, I had a very frustrating day. I was trying to do a video Did you hear that sigh? I was trying to do a video and the topic is good. It's something I have been wanting to do. I could not get into it. I must have done 6, 7 intros. Then I decided to put it on hold for a while, came back to it, did another couple of intros, got into it, and then it's just crazy. And I'm looking around my studio and thinking about what I want to do. And the videos I do are videos I want to do. Sometimes they're things that Cutlery More needs, which a lot of times I'm totally good with. But this video, it's just all on me, all my choosing to do, and I just could not get it out. So I'm thinking, you know what? You just switch things up a bit. Either do nothing for the rest of the day and just like take a mental little reset, or mess up a knife. Chose option B. Filming is interesting. I will say that. Sometimes it just doesn't happen. I don't know if you can see at the primary bevel there, or the shinogi line, where I'm starting to dig into it right there. I have a feeling that the problem I'm going to be really up against here is, am I going to have enough strength and endurance to really get this? I don't know. I guess if anything, I need to put pressure on the edge side. Pressure on the edge side is going to hit that line more than the center. Well, the tip definitely started to move. Tip and the heel. I don't care about going towards the edge like that. It doesn't really matter, because it's going to get dull anyway. I believe from the knife sharpening videos I've watched, a lot of the times the knife is thinned out by hand with sandpaper wrapped around a steel file. I'm kind of doing this the opposite, because I am doing it in the opposite way. Okay, so that started to move the needle. See that? That's thinning it. Let's keep going. crazy. Yeah, I'm putting a little pressure back into the edge. So I'm totally messing up the edge right now, which doesn't matter because it's going to get obviously sharpened afterward, but just a little backwards. Like if you look at the spine, like I'm just up like that. So like right there, it's flush to the original, I would say, I guess, primary bevel. So I need to aim somewhere in between there. That's my hot spot. It's where I'm really making it happen. And basically nowhere else. I mean, right there, it's definitely flattened out quite a bit. Okay. Interesting. Noticeably different from the other side. When I rub my finger, I can feel that bevel in the pad of my finger. And here it's hardly there. Hardly there. Keeps grabbing my glove. way up. And I want ham in the middle there. Probably too much pressure. That was done earlier, but. Thinking I should probably give this a little rinse off here and there. I'm gonna move this over. I have this little spot on my TV, a little felt dot. It's like a 1/2 inch. So I can know exactly when I'm dead center to the camera. So this is the side that I've ground down. It's hard to hold. It's hard to hold a hold of this. It's hard to keep a hold of this. There we go, the white shirt in the background. I can see a little bit of a difference. You can see that on this side, it's a little bit straighter. There's that slight little boop on the other. Probably should have zoomed this in hyper macro. Let's see if I can do this without changing my focal. Usually when you zoom in manual, it keeps your, there we go. Yeah, I'd say it just got pulled back a little bit. Again, this is the side that I've been grinding. Let's keep going. I have bent the blade a little bit. There's the back heel, so the opposite side, just from putting so much pressure on it this way, is angled in a little bit. So I'm curious, and there's, I don't know if it's because of thinning it, it's uneven. Yeah, there's definitely a little bent. Well, let's flip over. And I could be totally wrecking the core by doing that. Curious if that tiny little bit. Yeah, that tiny little bit just straightened it right back out. So I could just be totally destroying this. We'll see. Again, like I said in the beginning, I don't know what I'm doing. I have the luxury of having these knives to be able to explore and experiment and do stuff like this. Because if I, for whatever reason, were to need another one of these brand new out of the box, they would likely send me one from returns or something, just like this one. Because there will be. Mine had a super wonky handle. There'll be others. Just happens. Little side wiggle. It's nice to kind of switch up the direction for my arms. Oh, I just spit everywhere. That's nice. It's interesting seeing the karochi coming off. I see these little wonky pieces like this right here. Wonky and wild. Let me start that again. Wonky and wild are my words. Okay, so my focal zone backed up about an inch. Put that right there. Looks like this is already better, the angle that I'm holding it. I wonder if that's a part of it, is it's better doing it this way with the spine towards you. I don't know. That's why I have this glove on. Compared to that, you can see I'm definitely hitting that bevel instead of more of just the flat part of the karochi by doing it this way. So if I were to flip the blade over this way, which I'll try, but I want to do it with, well, I guess if I go, sure. Yeah, I think that's the better way to go about it. I am going to finish, because I have this glove on that hand, I want to keep this hand on the blade and this one not, just so I don't hurt myself. And I'm pressing more of the edge into the Atoma, which makes sense. So I guess it's thinning from the edge, not trying to thin from the center, because I'm doing this all by hand. Whereas if I had a wheel, I'd be able to probably just go down the wheel like this. If the wheel is going this way, I'd probably be able to go like this and hit that center, or hold it and go down and just have it aimed, which I just can't do that here. So you can see that bevel loud and clear right there. Here it's thinned right there. But I think compared to where it was before, it's definitely higher up, because from what I remember, the bevel of this, maybe it was just a little bit different color, I don't know. I'm just going to keep going. Tell you, the glove having water in it, pretty nice for keeping water on the Atoma. Moving my tape back because I keep looking over here for my spot. I'm just thinking to myself, you know, you should just go get yourself a belt sander at Lowe's. Which I may. It's amazing we talk about how delicate Aogami Super is. And this edge, I know I'm not hitting it directly, but definitely, I mean, it looks sharp still. It's probably wicked sharp. We're making some magic happen. Well, very mundane, slow, and boring magic, but magic nonetheless. It's actually crazy how sharp. So there's a difference. Oops, scoot this over. Look at the difference in the geometry. You don't have that hard flat grind that just hits and then there's an angle. This is definitely more of just a nice flow to it. Would that be considered a convex? I don't know. I don't know all the knife grind terminology. I should, but I don't because I can't remember it. But you get what I'm saying. It was like this. Now it was like that. Now it's more like this. I'm also realizing and also thinking back to other videos where they thin things out. I don't watch a lot of knife sharpening stuff. I rarely do because I'm trying to just figure this out without much influence from other channels. That's really the whole point of this exercise. It's not an expert series, is thinking about stuff and making it happen, hearing feedback from the comments, but not sitting down and watching an expert. I did that early on with Bob Kramer, Murray Carter, and I found how quickly you are influenced by these specific guides that other people have developed. And that's what I'm trying to stay away from. So, am I totally messing this up? I don't know. I can say that this side I focus more on following the bevel versus following that current primary bevel to grind it versus lying it flatter. And I think that that's why this side I'm already feeling and seeing a better job. And I haven't wrecked the Kurochi as much. I did in the middle there because I shifted through it. So, but you can see the grind marks back here that are on the bevel versus this one where there's actually less on the bevel. So let's bring this back to this side, focusing on pressure on that current bevel and thinning it out that way. I want to get rid of the Kurochi anyway, just so you know. I was going to sand it off with some 3000 because I think it'd be cool to see this as a polished knife and patina. I think it'd be really cool. Especially with the handle I got picked out. Nice contrast. See how my spine is up, whereas before I was trying to say, oh, I'm from here to there. I need to be like in the middle. That's just impossible. But the spine is up right now because I'm putting the pressure on that current bevel to thin it, which is what thinning is. But I figured because of how abrupt it was that I would have to hold it more towards the middle. I think I was wrong. Or I at least need to start here, let it thin and taper and taper and taper, even if I lose a little bit of height by doing that. I don't know. You'll hear that a lot in this video. Yeah, you can see the grind marks coming up at the angle and the pattern I was at. And this spot in the middle here that I really jazzed up earlier is already starting to separate my thumbs a little bit more. Separate the thumbs. More evenly pressured. That's the sound. That's on that current bevel. It's a little bit of a higher pitch. This is how I started in the beginning, was along the side like this. And I think that that's what I should have been doing this whole time. Pressure on the bevel. Man, I'm getting, sorry. I'm gonna have to beep that one out, getting sore. I wonder if I'm going to expose, well, I'm going to expose more of the core because I'm thinning it. I just don't know how much. Blade straight again. I will say, nothing beats a choil shot like looking at a lit light wall instead of into light like this, direct, just a soft light popped up like that. That just looks so much better. I forget, there's another knife retailer, I think it might be Chef's Edge out of Australia. They do that. A lot of their choil shots are just a soft wall behind them. It's brilliant. Softer than I think what we do on our site. I think what I was seeing before, it wasn't that the edge was crooked, it was that I thinned out the heel on the one side more than the other. So it gave the optical illusion that it was curving this way, but it wasn't. What's going on with my watch? I keep getting little, oh, it's asking me if I want to record this exercise. No, I don't. I mean, this thing is sharp. I mean, it makes sense. I'm just thinning it. And if I were to just do even on a 140, a couple passes like that, that side I feel it. Mr. B is on his annual summer fishing trip with his family. 10 days in the middle of nowhere fishing. So he doesn't know I'm doing this. I'm just gonna leave it like that. Watch, she's gonna be like, hey, could you do a quick little video in the Moritaka? About that, boss. I'm getting tired, so I think I'm gonna probably end up, man, that's thin. Getting tired. So I'm gonna go at this a little longer. I kind of want to get the crochie off of the rest of this. You better believe I'm going to round the spine and choil a bit more too. It's slightly rounded, but I'm going to round it even more. That's the tang. You're also hearing stainless steel there versus carbon. And I don't know if that matters much, but because that weld mark right there is the carbon to stainless in the tang. I feel like that's going to take a bit of time. I might not even need to do anything to the tang. It's the one side. I guess it's the bottom side there. The side I was just doing. Looks like it's more popped out than the other. Yeah. Most of it's gone. I think the rest will probably get with some sandpaper. Even this is a 10,000 grit, which I have a 3,000 in there, but that's already taken some off. Here, I'll show you where I'm at. I kind of want to keep going. It's so much better. What a night and day difference. I'm trying to get my shirt. Gosh, it's so hard to... What a difference. Wow, that's definitely thin. Huh. It's pretty cool. Do this. You definitely see the line a lot more on that side than this. You can see where I've definitely really got it right there. I know some of you saw that, what I saw that I just wiped off to make sure that wasn't what we thought it was. Okay, I think I'm going to stop here because there's no way that I can just keep doing this. Fill up my memory cards, and I am tired. That is just doing that same position, same motion. So what I'm going to do, just for fun, is as is in its current state. Wow, look how, even with the glove on. Wonder if I caught myself somewhere and I didn't even realize it. We're gonna find out. Nope. It's literally just rusting in my glove. Okay. So this is going to be part one of whatever the heck this is. And I may do I'm probably going to finish this off camera. And then come back, put the handle on, or maybe I'll come back with the sandpaper. I don't know. I might not even publish this. This could have just been my own little therapy after a weird day. Oh my God. Wow. Well, they say about paper towels being like the ultimate test of being able to slice. No. So that's just sharp. Not, I can feel the little hang-ups, but just from thinning it, I'm sharpening it, essentially. Very, very toothy. I mean, it is just like gripping. And we'll show you what it looks like. I'd say that's an improvement. From my perspective, at least. Pop this over so I'm not right at my dot. Yep. That hard angle line is gone. At least there at the choil. Part of me just wants to leave this as is, sharpen it, and see how it performs. Put the handle on. This might require a little bit extra. I can hear my daughter downstairs awake and I want to go spend time with her. It's 5. I enjoy my time with her before she goes to bed, so I'm going to stop. Let this just process. It's funny, the spine's got little burrs on it, essentially, from hitting it. I feel like I could just hit some sandpaper on the spine. Let's just do this. I feel like I could just sharpen this and go. Maybe I will. I might just put the handle on and say, screw it, let's go. This will be my Frankenstein knife. I don't know. Just ended up down another mental rabbit hole as I was wrapping this up. So 3,000. It's crazy how sharp this feels. But it's not completely. Okay, I'm done. I need to stop. One last look. We'll see what happens. Thanks for watching, whoever actually watched all this, or any of it. What am I saying? See you. Well, that was an experience. Well, I decided to just continue right where I left off. But I have a couple of different things that might make my life a little bit easier. I don't know if this is going to be part 2 or this is going to be a 2 or 3 hour long video. I'm not sure. But if you're curious, what I'm doing is thinning out and refinishing this Moritaka Aogami Super Gyuto. The handle was installed crooked, as you can see in the prep sesh video. And it's a high-performing knife, but I want it to be thinner and I want the geometry to be better for how I like to use a knife. So here we go. What am I going to do? Interestingly enough, this is why we keep random pieces of wood. It fits perfectly into this, look at that, into this Sharpening weighted stone holder, which is just unbelievable. I had 2 pieces. First one didn't. This one, like a glove. Amazing. It's meant to be. So why the wood? Well, I want something to stabilize the knife on that's not going to mess it all up. And the reason I'm going to stabilize the knife on here is because I have sandpaper that I figured why not try and use the sandpaper instead of just the Atoma with the 140. Now, I don't have two of these cut resistant gloves, but I do have a pair of leather, which is going to be better than nothing because this is sharp. It's not stupid sharp, but it's still sharp from thinning it. And so this will be my wet hand glove. This will be just a little bit better protected. So what I'm going to do is start off with this smaller piece, and I'm going to cut out some 120 grit. I was using a 140 Atoma. Now I'm going to use this. And I'm just going to use this knife. Why not? I'm still not even sure if I'm even going to publish this video, to be honest with you. Okay, so it's not sharp enough to cut through this completely. Jeez. This is where we're just going to grab some scissors, shears, I was thinking last night as I'm watching some of my wind down YouTube videos that this is the type of stuff that I enjoy watching to wind down to. And I imagine that that's really the only case, is that some of you are probably just watching this at night, just looking to escape a little bit. And I get it, because I do it almost every night. I watch stuff like this. Watch a lot of Yes Theory when they have new episodes out. I usually wait like a good month or so and let them pop out some new episodes. And gosh, talk about just a feel-good show. They just hit 10 million followers on their channel, which was incredible. Well, this is really hard to do with an inept hand. Get back there. That'll do. Okay. This says that it's wet or dry, so we'll see. I also got to try and do it without getting sawdust, essentially, wood grit all over. So I'm going to come at this. We'll just wet this a bit. And the reason I'm wetting is just for minimizing the heat, because I don't want to heat this blade up and then have it somehow mess up the heat treatment, which can be a thing. So let's see if this even works. It's going to be hard to keep a hold of. I feel like I need to do this at a different angle. What's going to be the best way here? You can see the Karochi is nearly off just from that. There was quite a bit on there still from yesterday. Yesterday, I primarily focused on getting the Karochi off of, wow, that looked like a chip right there. The way the water was popped up. It's like, uh-oh. I'll have a lot more grinding if I chip the edge here. So that was yesterday. Man, I'm out of breath. Whew. And already, most of that is coming off. And you can see the bevel, primarily that straight line right there, that I need to hit more, but this, a lot of this has thinned out, and I forgot to show this. Huge difference from yesterday. Okay. So I am pressing down to the edge side because that's where I want to focus, is grinding that bevel and basically elongating it, bringing it higher up to the spine. Or just in this case, because this is going to be a fully polished blade, there's not going to be one. You won't be able to see any of that shinogi line. I hope that's shinogi line, if I'm saying the right thing. What it was. Move this. It's hard to keep a hold of this. Maybe that's what I should be doing, is having the edge hang off a little bit, so I'm not hitting the wood. Yeah, that makes more sense, because now the sandpaper is able to continue on the same angle down, thinning. Give you a little peek. What's kind of cool is the Kurochi in the engraving there will stay. So that, well, maybe not. See, it's coming out back on that one. But in theory, it should be a bit darker because I'm not grinding it out. So when this is done, it'll have a cool looking little stamp there. Stamp engraving. Trying to get the remaining Kurochi off. So I'm holding this up at a little bit of an angle. This sandpaper is holding up surprisingly well. I was worried that it was just going to shred. I love it. You can definitely see I realized it was easier to see this with something light behind it, but it's really hard to show that and keep a hold of it. So you're looking at my left, your right side. So over here. And you can see how from the edge, it's just this nice flowy taper. It's even on both, but I'd say even more so just from doing this today. Very cool. I'm going to switch sides here in a moment. Okay, I don't want this to be absolutely perfect in the sense of, if you look at the heel, there's some of that croce that's left on there. And then there's a little bit right here, just because there's little divots and imperfections. I kind of like it. Look at the spirals right here from that little bit of swirling I did, which I haven't done. That's the first I've done that. Okay, change this out. Flip sides. Just went for a walk with my wife and daughter before doing this, and then I showered. So my body temperature is probably a little warmer than normal, and I can feel it. I am a bit sweaty. Quick little shot of the other side before we totally change it. All done with the Atoma 140. So now I'm going to have to focus on this side. Give this a quick little wet. This is interesting. It's a completely different feeling. No. Just gonna have to figure it out. Tell you, ramming this thing into my thumb is pissing me off. I don't know if I'll be able to get a better grip with this. About the same, but at least it's hitting the towel now instead of my frickin' thumb. There you go. Good angle there with the lighting. You see the little divots throughout. Pretty cool. Right there, you're getting my monitor. Right there, you're getting my key light. I'm working on a couple spots along the core here that I've really dug into yesterday. Seeing if I can work those blemishes out. And it was mainly on this side because this is the first side that I did, and I was focusing, I would say, just more centered in certain areas or more pressure in certain areas, and wasn't the right call. And then on the other side, I ended up focusing more on following the current bevel, not trying to grind down the shinogi, the top of the bevel, into the finish, into the karochi. And that sped things up immediately and made for a more even grinding experience all along the blade. See right here in the back, and even at the tip here. That's where I got it pretty good. And they're deep. Deep enough that I think I'm gonna need this to work them out, not a 320 or a 3000 or a 10,000 for finishing. I think I really gotta remove the steel and do it this way. I wonder if turning this would do anything for me. Man. No one forced me to do this. This is at my own. This wasn't like Mr. B called me up and said, hey, I want you to blah, 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 blah. I was like, okay, Mr. B, I'll do it. Well, this is just me. It's funny. This is rusting a little already on this side, right here. Developing a little patina, if you will. Or I'm just going to have to live with these scratches, which is fine. While I'm thinking of it. The only other knife that I've done anything remotely close to this would be the Hetsuko Koro Kumokage Nikiri. I got rid of all of the etched cladding, colors, the Damascus etched cladding, the Kurochi, and it's basically a polished blade, but I didn't thin it at all. It's warm up here. I can't turn the air down either because I'm on the same floor as the baby. That really hurts, man. So I have carpal tunnel and tendonitis. I've had it for years. From teaching myself how to play the guitar and holding the pick improperly and creating a lot of strain on my right wrist. But at the same time, not playing chords in the right formation, creating different strain. I played. I mean, it's really good. Used to cover Tim Reynolds, if you know who that is, Stream, I would play as one of the songs when I was out. And if you know that song, you know it's not easy. Nice and rounded spine. The rounded spine only really matters the first 2 or 3 inches where you're gripping it. And I say 2 or 3 because sometimes you choke up on the blade even more. And I would say that the spine can matter more than even the choil. And there's those couple of blemishes that I don't know if I'm going to be able to get. Right at the heel, right at the mid blade. I think I got a lot of that. Up here was pretty gnarly. Now I just have different ones throughout. I wonder if just doing this by hand now would allow me to isolate certain areas more so. So I'm going to give that a go. I'm aiming right here. That's the spot. But I'm going much further because I don't want to just have that little area with even more abrasions on it. Essentially still thinning this out by doing it like this. A little better. It's going to be really funny after all of this if I go to cut into an apple like I did in the prep sesh that had a pretty significant amount of wedging, if it still does the same thing. Almost gone. Just that tiny little bit there at the edge. A little bit right here as well, but nowhere near as bad as it was. Some at the heel. I feel like another go at it like I just did, and yeah, I think I'll be happy with where I'll end up right there. Yeah. See, that's why you wear something to protect your hands if you're going to do this. I would have lost something there for sure. I think just the tip of my glove grabbed it, but still, I've hit this edge many a times, and I'm glad I have these on. Specifically leather gloves. Okay, I think that should do it. I've definitely damaged the edge itself a little bit. I can see little waves here and there, but it's just from putting pressure. Remember, yesterday I mentioned that I thought that I had bent the edge. It wasn't, or at least it isn't now. There's these tiny little waves, but they're gonna get worked out when I actually sharpen this too. I think what I'm gonna do when I sharpen this is start it on, I might just get going right with the 1000 because I've thinned it so much that, I mean, it's sharp right now. Very cool. Man, that's a lot of work just to get rid of a little bit of a hard angle. All right, let's go back to this other side now and finish this up by hand. Man. Okay, the side I just did. Definitely have some vertical scuffs all along the edge there from going on the diamond Atoma yesterday. So I'm going to hit that just like I did on the other side. But the rest of the blade looks great. And I love the Kurochi stuck in the engraving. I think that that's awesome. Right here at this weld mark was giving me quite the trouble, but I'm good with it. Well, I would say that we have a Megaki knife and some sore arms. I'm going to start with a fresh one. It's crazy that a 120 can make a blade look like that. I'm going to hit this with a 3 briefly. I'm going to hit it with a 10. And then I believe that I'm going to put the handle on from there. Then I'm going to sharpen it. Someone asked me on TikTok the other day, can I use sandpaper to sharpen my knife? Because I'm talking about grits in the video. And I think you could. I think that if you had different grits and used one of these and probably just like very slowly went with it, or fast, I don't know. But yeah, why not? I don't see why it wouldn't be possible to do. I responded, I said, can and should are different things. But here I am, essentially sanding the edge of a knife. Not essentially, I am sanding the edge of the knife. Still got quite a few. I'm going to bring it back this way where I had it earlier when I was doing the other side. Just kind of flip things a bit. It's funny how the patina on the other side. So I'm going to have to hit that on each side and then dry this before I proceed. So I still got some marks on here. They're not terrible. And the reality is I'm probably going to end up having similar marks when I sharpen this. Not too bad. But I'm going to give it one more pass. Okay, that's got to be it. It is what it is. And they're still there. So I think that maybe because it's the core, it's just so much harder. Oh, I feel like I'm so close. So close. Making a mess. Last one. My hands are set. I can't even pinch them. Wow, my grip is just gone. Okay, whatever that is, it is. We're moving on. About the same. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to sand off that bit of patina. Good. And we're going to go to the handle. Okay. The reason that I'm doing the handle next is because I feel like I've just essentially hit a wall. And before I spend time sharpening this to wonder if it's going to be where I want it to be, I just want to get that on. I want to get rid of the water. And then if I decide that I want to spend some time polishing this even more, which a 3000 is likely going to hit a little bit of these blemishes. I mean, it's a completely it's a completely different knife. Okay, what do I want to do here? I'm just going to move this whole thing. These Atoma plates will rust quickly, just so you know. If you decide to get any, dry them off. Don't just let them air dry. Okay. Okay. I think I'm just going to hit this quickly. This is a 3000. I'm going to do a 10,000. I just didn't want the blade. I did not want to get the blade wet. But now this hand's wet. Whatever. Just. Everything's still there. I just got a nice little glossy finish by doing this. It's just polishing, that's all. I would say that this, honestly, right now, doesn't look much different than my 13-ish year old Zwilling Pro, my first chef's knife. With all the scratches just from washing it and cleaning it and such over the years. Get my focal spot, which looks to be about right there. Back a little, forward a little. There we go. Just looks like a beautifully used blade. Recycling from yesterday. Dull, but sharp. Okay, let's get this handle on. The handle that I've chosen, I feel like I need to bring this up so I have my focal zone spot. Let me figure out where it is. Right there. Match it up with this handle. And in case that gets moved, with the top of those. Handle. This is wenge wood. And I thought that this would look really cool with the polished blade. Got some rustic graining on it. Buffalo horn ferrule. It is very similar to the Hayabusa Aogami Super. So look at that. The only other option I have is a plain ebony, which looks good, but it's just plain. And then I have the same quince wood from the same one I put on the Oshikane. So I'm just going to go with this one. Okay, I have my fluid. Folks gave me some direction on that. We're going to burn this in, get it to fit, put some hot glue in there. I'm not even going to do anything. I have gaff tape. I forgot my regular tape. And here we go. This side in. Wow, that went down there real fast. Wow, there's a lot of wiggle room in there. That's going to require a ton of glue. Interesting. Now, the last install that I did was with the Yoshikane extra tall Gyuto, and the tang was much bigger than this. So that did not take a lot. So I'm really going to have to cram this thing packed with glue and then make sure that I don't go in too far. I don't mind having a bit of an extended tang. Like that's actually one of the things I like about Yoshikane is they have a good amount of the tang. Okay, well, let's play with some glue. I'm gonna bring, God, that's all filthy. Whatever. Let's just see what happens here. These are just hot glue pellets. And just going to put this in here and just feed them in. I may have to find a way to stabilize this. While this, I'm just going to have to hold it. I have nothing to stabilize it with, so. That's hot. What can I do to press that down? This is where a flashlight would be nice. Gosh, I don't even know if I'm halfway up. And then as these melt, they're going to fill more space. So I really gotta it's only the second time I've ever done a handle. And I can see that it's basically just up to the ferrule. So we're going to go a little further. Yeah, so they're that far down to my tip of my middle finger. Okay. Left my painter's tape downstairs, so I'm going to put some gaff tape. It's like, if you're not familiar, it's what's great to use for production equipment. It's not super sticky. See what I'm doing? So if I end up with overflowing glue, which I likely will, I can peel the tape off instead of having to get it off the handle or the tang, which I'm also going to tape the tang up. Oop, lost one. So with the Yoshikane handle that I did not, by the way, the reason I put gaff on first along the side of the handle is so the other tape would stick to it better instead of the ferrule. And now I'm just wrapping this again. Hey, get back here. And now I'm going to wrap the choil, the edge, and I'm going to go down basically to how much of the tang I want exposed, and then just below it. Okay, so there you have it. Nothing too exciting. You're just watching some bald dude on YouTube tape a knife. I'm gonna do this. I'll be ready with this. I know this will fit already, so this is mainly just to melt the pellets. So the burn-in is done, it fits. And whoever told me that I can fill these with the can upside down, thank you. I thought it was supposed to be right side up. I don't use torches like this that often. There's just some things where you embarrass yourself on YouTube that you just learn to accept. Okay. I want this side to me. I started talking about the Yoshikane and I squirreled. I was told to use beeswax okay, that's where I'm going to leave it. I was told to use beeswax to fill in the top. I didn't get any, but I'm going to order some because that's what I'm going to want to do with this. How much of those pellets? I can't hear anything rattling, so that's good. So how much of these pellets are actually melting right now? I don't know. What I do know is it's straight. I've got the tape, so that won't work. I mean, it's already, there's a little bit of wiggle, but I'm not going to pull it out and worry about doing it again. As long as it stays secure, I can always take it back off. It's easy. You put this in boiling water, Takes a couple minutes, it'll pull right out. That's how I would have to do it. I'm not worried about that. That tape is warm. I'm warm all the way up until the exposed tang. So that's got, and that's like kind of hurts to touch after a second. So I would say that that was definitely hot enough. Okay, still got some movement, so it's not, I can hear the glue. It's squishy, squishy. So at least I can adjust the handle a little bit. So I'm gonna leave that tape on there. It's definitely straight. It's not wonky like. It's just off center, actually. That's really weird. You're just gonna have to deal with it. I mean, if it is, it's hardly. I'd say that's pretty good. It's as on center as it's gonna get. Let's just say that. Okay. So I need to find a way to stabilize this. I might just have to honestly hold it. I think just keeping it upright is probably going to be the best way. So what can I do to keep this upright? Okay. Well, this has to harden up and cool down. I'm not just going to make you wait for it, but I'm going to be back. And when I come back, I'm going to sharpen this and hopefully that's the end of it. Is a much better looking choil than what it was before, in my opinion. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, let's sharpen this Moritaka. Again, I'm not sure if I'm doing this all as one video or if I'm breaking this up into 3 different parts, but this is the Moritaka Aogami Super Gyuto, and it looks very different. Very, very different. And I absolutely love it. This is what it used to look like. And although the Haneski geometry is completely fine because this is a double bevel, but very, very traditional Haneski, that is what this essentially used to look like, but a bit less dramatic. So I have spent the last couple hours of time thinning out and essentially just completely redoing this blade. And if I do this as one video, then there's your quick recap. And I think more importantly, just a little reminder of that used to look like this. And it had this handle on it and it was all crooked. And the handle worked. The handle looks great. I'm excited about that. Just to show you again, this by itself, the choil shot originally was off to, I'd say there, probably a good 1/4 inch off. It was just very, very wonky. So I am very pleased with how this has turned out. The handle is not completely secured and sealed at the top there, as you can see. No big deal. I'm gonna get some beeswax and I'm gonna fill that in and do the same thing to the Yoshikane, but it's stable. It's not going anywhere. Let's get it sharpened. Because of how much I thin this out, and although there is somewhat of an edge, it's very lumpy. I think that's the best way I could describe it. It's just a bit lumpy. So I'm going to start this. I'm not going to go down all the way to the, it's actually a 220. I've been saying a 320. I thought it was a 220. No, I thought it was, let me get my brain back in order. I thought it was a 320. I thought it was a 320. I've been calling it a 320, but it's actually a 220. I don't think this needs that. So we're gonna get started on this Naniwa Diamond Pro 600 and go from there. By the way, this camera died 20 minutes into the second part of this. So for a good amount of that video, I lost this shot, but whatever. I moved my desk into this little pop out here because I just love being in this room. And the room that it was in, I have my little pop-up tent sauna and some workout stuff, and there's a connected bathroom, but it just feels, to work in, it just feels blah. So I moved it. So now I get to turn around. My computer's facing this way, so I get to turn around and look at this stuff at any point. In the comments on the original sharpening video for this, something that someone mentioned to help me with, I was popping up like this, and that was the weird sound, whatever, that I was getting. But what they recommended is to make sure that my fingers are on the more edge side of the stone, I'm sorry, of the blade. So I'm maintaining that pressure. Evidently my finger, I guess, came up here and it could have created that unevenness. And when I'm doing it on this side, I guess my thumb is back and my other fingers are at the edge. So that was very helpful to just consider, and this is the first time I'm being mindful of that. It's funny. I'm really not feeling, why am I feeling a burr on that side? Oh. This has been a long, no, I should have felt it on this side because I did that last. What's going on here? I have my thumb up higher. I felt it. It's not even me needing to be closer to the edge. It's maintaining the pressure. I do it with my thumb, but not my pointer finger when I flip the blade over. I think that's what's causing that back and forth, that lift. Okay, we're going to move on to the Sharpen 1000. Get this way in here. Level this out. Clean this off. Man, I'm zoned. So I heard feedback about the wood, pulling on the wood. Some of it made sense. But then someone also brought something up, is that Murray Carter is a master bladesmith and sharpener, and he probably knows a thing or two about what he is talking about. And I found that interesting. There's a gnat that just landed on my hand. Sharp. Let's make it sharper. Let's go to the Chapton Rockstar 2000. So I'm going to try this without the wood and see if I can get a sharpness that would allow me to do what I did in the last video, which is cut a cherry tomato with no pressure, just the weight of the blade, after I'm done going through all these stones. I think this one's going to be fast. At this point, polishing, working on the burr. The reactivity of the core, this is where I think I might want to start polish thinning. I don't know, I've never done it before. Well, I have, that's a lie. Get a nice kazumi on here. Probably going to go back over this with some 10,000 grit at some point. I don't know if I'm doing this right. Yeah, so that's really just scuffing up the blade, getting that nice haze, but I don't know if it's going to work for this or not because of hand grinding this so much. You can see like right here, it's hitting different spots. So I'm just gonna go back to sharpening it, and then I'm probably going to, I love this back out. I think at that point, I'm going to just clean up the blade with the 10,000 after I'm done sharpening it. Yeah, the pressure on this side is helping a lot. Yep. Do I go to the 3000 or just go right up to the 8? I might as well just go to the 8. Going from 2 to 8 might not be as good as, I don't know, 3 to 8. Maybe less gap matters. I'm going to hit this. Oops. Oh well. Too late. It's already on there. Should have cleaned that off first. But from what I understand with these diamonds, you only need to lightly try and level them out. Next up, I don't even know if I'm going to strop. I think I just want to try doing this completely by stone, which, based on that last one with the tomato, seems pretty good. I understand why the strop, but I have these high grit stones that I should be able to essentially do the same thing. And sometimes I've noticed that when I go to that natural finishing stone, which I think I may have left downstairs. Oh well, we won't be using it. That natural finishing stone, that if I strop after that, it sometimes makes the edge worse. It's sharp. So you can see the bevel that was previously there kind of popping through there. Or I did that with the stone and it just kind of fit there because it was at a very low angle of this. So what I'm going to do real quick, just let's check the edge. See it gliding? So the last stone was actually better than this one, which would have been that 3,000. But notice if I strop after this one, it generally does better. So what I'm going to do real quick, and it's going to be a little off because I don't feel like moving everything around to do this part. This is my oak board that I use for dirty jobs. I'm not going to do this over my Shun Haneski. I'm just going to come in here, put a glove on so I don't get my hand all mucked up. And I'm going to take this I've got some 3,000 and 10,000. This is 3,000. Beautiful. Oh, yeah. Cleaned up the previous bevel, which is still essentially there, very quickly. And it's given me a nice polish. Well, you can just see some of those abrasions just completely disappear. I'm being very, very careful here. I should have on that mesh glove right now. $3,000, $3,000, $10,000. We'll wrap up. I think what I'm going to do is go back to that stone once more, strop motion, and then I'm going to strop. Maybe I'll strop first, might not need to. The patina this develops is going to be wild. Okay. So I need to clean this really good. I'll do that after. I don't know if you should or not, but I find that when I strop, in my brain, I'm essentially twisting that burr or folding it back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth to the little microscopic bits left of it, if there are any. So since this stone isn't really removing much steel, grinding and shaping the edge, the geometry of it, I think coming in at different angles with that strop pass, it just makes sense in the sense of hitting different parts of the apex slightly to help break off even more little itty bitty bits of the burr. And I could be totally wrong. I don't know. But it makes sense to me. And then at the end, get lower and lower. I do this when I'm stropping. I usually don't do it on the stone, but I'm gonna try it. Let's try this tomato. Well, obviously whatever I did worked. I mean, that's sharp. Yeah, that's sharp. I must say, I am very proud of this. It's like I did all this by hand. I didn't follow any instructions. It's not perfect. But I have a really sharp knife that looks cool. And now we're going to test it together. And what we're going to test is the apple. Because let's be real, that's what started all of this, is the geometry of this Moritaka. It just wasn't to my liking. So I have an apple. I'm going to cut up the rest of these tomatoes that I've got 3 left. Ooh, this one's not cut, but it's squishy, so that'll be fun. I don't want a slippy board. Don't need another lost pinky tip. Let's see. I know there's other things other than paper towels to do this with, but this is quick and easy. And it works. Okay, I gotta find my focal zone again. Right there. Let's check out the blade. The Moritaka Aogami Super, completely thinned by hand and refinished by hand with an Atoma 140, 120 grit sandpaper, 3000 grit sandpaper, and some 10,000. You just saw the stones. And then the handle was replaced with wenge wood, the buffalo horn ferrule. And that is a completely different knife. Okay, tomatoes first. I feel like I want to strop it. It's got a little bit of a bite that I don't want. Just a touch of one. It's hard to explain. I'm just pinching the tang. I mean, I'm almost tap chopping. All right, here's a squishy one. This one might just explode. Too bad that didn't go towards the camera. It came back towards me. Last tomato. Okay. Apple. Will it wedge? I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little nervous. There's already some blue happening to this blade. Very light, but it's there. Now, this is a Cosmic Crisp, so it's gonna have the sound, but I just wanna make sure this doesn't wedge. Pretty clean. Pretty clean. Just a tad. Went through the seed there. Yeah, so it feels clean. You can see on this one, which camera is going to give me the best? That's just, oh, so maybe that pulled, yeah. So that started to pull a little bit. Tell you, the way they get caught up on the blade when you do the pinch grip, and if you come back on the handle like this, then they pop off for the next one. Okay, so I feel like I need to try this on a different apple. I think the Cosmic Crisp are just the wedgiest, and well, it's in their name, crispy. But as you saw in the prep session, if you haven't, go check that out. This like wedge like crazy with the apple. I'm gonna go get a sweet potato. I have some. Hang tight. I'm cutting up a little bit of sweet potato in case she needs it, okay? The little girl loves her sweet potatoes. And my wife does too. I don't eat them that much. Oh, I need a snack. Look at this big hoss. Okay, right down the center. Well, it's sharp. That was a dense tater. Pretty clean. There's the sound of the sweet potato separating. Just grabbing a laser, the Shirokamo, Shirogami Damascus. Is it easier? Yes. That I was being careful with because of the height. Yeah, that Shirokamo was much easier, but if you look at the difference in the choil shot, you'll understand. More height, better overall geometry. So you can see right there, that's what I spent all this time thinning out. And it still doesn't have the geometry that... Am I going back or forward? Where am I going? That looks... Sorry, I look at the hair on my fingers to know in the monitor where my best focal is. There you go. It's still much better than what it was. I fear that if I had done that, yeah, if I had done that before with a sweet potato, it probably would have sent one slice flying. So I feel better about it. And I learned a lot by doing this. And I'm excited to use this blade just for some everyday prep downstairs and just see how it feels. And this is going to be the one that I might go back to again, depending on some feedback. If I even publish this, what y'all might have to share in the sense of just dialing this in even more, aside from having to thin it out even more. I get that. I'm curious what it will take. What will it take to get this to exactly where I want it? Okay. This is it, folks. That's what we did. The Moritaka Aogami Super Magaki 210mm Gyuto. Pretty cool. Well, for those of you who watch this, I hope you learned something. I certainly did. I guess what I just learned is just how to do something. Did I do it totally perfectly? Absolutely not. But I learned, definitely learned something throughout this whole process. Oh, God. Oops. The curve. I will hit this again on the stones. I think going through another, probably just hitting with the 3000 again. I mean, it's stupid sharp, don't get me wrong. I might have some little tiny, right at the tip. Just at the tip. Okay, I'm done. Thank you so much for tuning into this, if you did. Well, longest series or longest video ever. Okay, bye-bye.